Part two, y'all. So now we're going to deal with the Lord's Supper. So there are three things that Christians ought to be doing. They definitely need to be doing these three things. Number one is making disciples. Number two is baptizing people. Number three is partaking in the Lord's Supper. And no, I don't mean doing this Lone Ranger style, you feel me? Doing this off on your own. This is all meant to be done as part of a church. Because believe it or not, 2023 or otherwise, it is really important for Christians to belong to a church body. Anyways, let's take a look at the Lord's Supper. Continuing on in Luke, verse 14 says, "When the hour had come, and he reclined at the table, and the apostles with him. And he said to them, I have earnestly desired to eat this Passover with you before I suffer. For I say to you, I shall never again eat it until it is fulfilled in the kingdom of God. And when he had taken some bread and given thanks, he broke it and gave it to them, saying, This is my body, which is given for you. Do this in remembrance of me." Now, a couple things here. That word right there for giving thanks is eucharistes, which is eucharistos, that to give thanks. That's where that word Eucharist comes from. The Catholic Church did not make this up. They did not create the term. This is actually from the Greek, Eucharistao. Eucharistao is I give thanks. They've just taken it and made it mean, transubstantiation or whatever. But that's not what Jesus is saying here. He's speaking symbolically, spiritually, as he did when he was teaching and giving those parables and saying, unless you eat of my flesh and drink of my blood, you will have no parts of me. This meal right here is what Jesus was referring to even then. Notice he says, do this in remembrance of me. It wasn't meant to stop with just the disciples. This is for all Christians, all believers who will come after them. This is meant to be a practice of the church, ongoing until he returns. Verse 20, and in the same way he took the cup after they had eaten, saying, This cup which is poured out for you is the new covenant in my blood. Because by his blood he would purchase us. We are bought by the blood of the Lamb. You understand? His blood would be poured out for them that believe. He says, But behold, the hand of the one betraying me is with me on the table. For indeed the Son of Man is going as it has been determined, but woe to that man by whom he is betrayed. That word for determined is prorizo. By the way, just thought I'd throw that in there. And they began arguing amongst themselves to see who it was who would do this thing.